It's strange how just a few months can feel like a leap of decades in the world of artificial intelligence. One moment, everyone is raving about language models that craft near-perfect essays, and the next, we're confronted with even crazier breakthroughs like Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro overshadowing every competitor and OpenAI flaunting GPT-40's ability to render hyper-realistic images pixel by pixel. Yet that's only scratching the surface. China's tech titans have also burst onto the scene, brandishing their own jaw-dropping AI models in a bid to dominate this escalating race. And while the hype grows louder, controversies over image watermarks, user privacy, and creative freedom sneak up on us in the background. But let's take a step back. These AI announcements aren't just a passing trend. They're shaking the entire digital space with game-changing speed. By the end of this video, you'll see how Google, OpenAI, and a wave of Chinese innovators are sending shockwaves through everything from social media to enterprise software. And the oddest part, nobody's entirely sure who stands to benefit the most, or where all these developments leave the average internet user. A surge in AI innovations. If you've been watching AI advancements this year, your pace is brutal. Hardly a week goes by without some new announcement, usually overshadowing the one from the week before. A few months ago, we thought we'd seen it all with GPT 4.5, but then the rumor mill started turning. Google was cooking up something huge, something that would dwarf every model that came before it. All those whispers became reality when Google quietly revealed Gemini 2.5 Pro. In an instant, the conversation shifted from cautious excitement about AI chatbots to stunned awe over a system that, according to people who've tested it, might be rewriting the rulebook on code generation, image transformation, and strategic reasoning. Developers who'd previously pinned their hopes on established tools are now exploring how Gemini could slot into their workflows. Is it truly that much better, or is it just the hype cycle rearing its head again? That's the million-dollar question. People love to speculate. Gemini's got a bigger context window than the rest, or it's leaps ahead in logic. At this stage, nobody's completely sure which rumors hold water. But the key point is that the stakes are higher than ever, because while the world gawks at Google, powerful players on the other side of the globe have been quietly building their own next-generation platforms. Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro? Was it overhyped or game-changing? Gemini 2.5 Pro arrived with a promise of staggering performance leaps. Some say it's a versatile monster that can tackle nearly any coding challenge thrown at it, from debugging legacy software to spinning up entire websites in a single prompt. Others hint that it's as good as or better than specialized reasoning models, which historically have overshadowed general-purpose bots in tasks requiring deep analysis. Critics, on the other hand, argue that the hype outruns reality. They believe Google's slick marketing overshadowed the practical limitations that might emerge under real-world pressure. Still, if you talk to teams testing it behind closed doors, they whisper stories of baffling speed and startling accuracy. Where GPT-4.5 might have stuttered or misunderstood complex instructions, Gemini 2.5 Pro allegedly glides through them without breaking a sweat. It's not all smooth sailing, of course. Skeptics question how stable the model is when scaled to millions of users, or how it handles tricky ethical topics in real-life settings. With tensions between global tech behemoths at a boiling point, every detail is under a microscope. But looming in the background is another massive wave nobody saw coming. An entire lineup of Chinese AI contenders that could very well eclipse both Google and OpenAI. The silent rise of Chinese models. While big Western brands hog headlines, China's AI innovators have been quietly making their own breakthroughs. In the last few months alone, we've seen DeepSeek 3.1 roll out with a unique architecture that some claim rivals the best from Silicon Valley. Then Tencent, best known globally for WeChat, launched T1, which quickly gained traction in local markets for its ability to handle nuanced text generation and speech tasks. But perhaps the most talked about newcomer is Qwen 2.5 Omni, fueled by a so-called thinker-talker approach that aims to unify textual reasoning and speech capabilities. Imagine an AI that not only understands your typed commands with remarkable depth, but can also respond to you via voice as if you were talking to a human colleague. Whether that's an impressive leap forward or just another incremental step remains to be seen. And let's not forget Doppo, the open-source reinforcement learning framework from ByteDance, the same company behind TikTok. It was specifically built for training large-scale language models. By democratizing part of their technology, ByteDance has sparked a wave of grassroots experimentation. Independent developers, startups, and even university labs in China are using Doppo to build specialized AI solutions at breakneck speed. While headlines in the West often focus on how Google or OpenAI might win, China's emergence in the AI race changes the entire board. Corporate alliances form and dissolve in a heartbeat, raising questions about how intellectual property, data privacy, and government regulations play into these global expansions. Some call it a new Cold War, one fought not with nuclear arsenals but with lines of code and machine learning. GPT-4's image revolution. In the midst of these dramatic power plays, OpenAI made its own high-profile splash with GPT-4. This model doesn't just craft sentences, it also specializes in pixel-by-pixel image generation, rendering elaborate scenes one tiny detail at a time. If older diffusion-based models produced images in a big conceptual blur, GPT-4 feels like the quiet painter meticulously filling in each pixel. The results? Strikingly lifelike art that's turning heads and sparking heated debates. But that wasn't the whole story. GPT-4 also introduced a new twist, the ability to maintain continuity in characters and objects across multiple prompts. For some, that's a cute novelty, a fun way to imagine your favorite cartoon hero wearing different outfits or posing in exotic locations. For others, it's a glimpse into a deeper shift in how we interact with AI art. Fans joke about crafting AI girlfriends, who can appear in photos at family dinners, morph into dynamic anime companions, or star in comedic comic strips that look practically professional. However, not everyone is cheering. Critics worry that the line between real and manufactured images is blurring so quickly that it might upend entire creative industries. Imagine photographers or digital artists who spent years refining their craft, only to see an AI produce near-flawless work overnight. And that's not even touching the swirling concerns about invasive watermarks, which some argue stifle creativity, while others say are necessary to combat misinformation. Watermarking and privacy battles. Enter the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, an entity with a mouthful of a name and an agenda that has a chunk of the internet deeply suspicious. Their new watermarking technique can attach hidden data to AI-generated images, theoretically letting anyone track the image's origin and even modifications over time. At a glance, this might sound reasonable. Disinformation runs rampant online, and verifying whether a realistic or scandalous image is AI-generated could help cut down on malicious hoaxes. Yet the devil's in the details. If these watermarks are baked into every single AI-generated work, are we heading toward a world where every creative piece is monitored, scanned, and cataloged for safety? The technology behind it might be innocuous in principle, but the data that gets collected, such as user identities, timestamps, or IP addresses, could become a treasure trove for heavy-handed oversight. Some folks see this as a necessary step to preserve truth in a world of photo manipulation. Others view it as a creeping invasion of privacy that goes hand in hand with mandatory AI usage disclosures now popping up on platforms like YouTube and Steam. In effect, the new rule is, if you used AI in your digital creation, you must declare it. But that begs the question, do you really need to say anything at all if the model is so good that no one can tell the difference? The Slops Razor Dilemma. This question gave rise to the tongue-in-cheek concept known as Slops Razor, invented by a whimsical online user with an anime avatar. It proposes that if your AI-generated image is unrecognizable as AI, it's effectively indistinguishable from real art, so why label it? And if it's obviously AI-generated due to quirks or errors, that's a dead giveaway, so labeling it feels redundant. Either way, disclaimers become moot. While meant half in jest, the argument highlights a genuine tension in creative circles. Purists claim that labeling AI art is about honesty and ethical transparency, while free speech advocates say mandated labels are a slippery slope toward policing all creative output. And in a world where AI tools are integrated into everything from corporate marketing to personal blogging, how do you even track or enforce these guidelines at scale? Despite the confusion, many of us just love messing around with AI. We enjoy turning selfies into anime-like portraits and generating comedic memes that make social media feeds more entertaining. But if the technology is unstoppable, the real question is how it'll coexist with the human creativity that came before it. Commercial implications and code tools. Behind the flashy images and heated debates about authenticity, there's another massive shift happening in the developer community. AI code generators have become more capable than ever, churning out thousands of lines in mere seconds. Yet that avalanche of auto-generated code still needs to be reviewed, tested, and refined by actual humans, at least for now. This is where specialized services like CodeRabbit come in. Instead of manually combing through line after line of potential spaghetti code, Teams use advanced co-pilot solutions to identify mistakes, inefficiencies, or security holes. It's not just about syntax errors or style guides either. These tools can highlight subtle performance bottlenecks or incomplete test suites that might otherwise slip through. As you might guess, that raises another polarizing topic. Are we headed toward a future where entire aspects of programming become automated, leaving developers to merely rubber stamp AI suggestions? Some see it as liberation from grunt work, freeing creative minds to focus on architecture and innovation. Others warn it might reduce us to curators of machine output, a potential gateway to over-reliance on proprietary AI platforms. No matter which side you're on, the interplay between code generation tools and the developers who refine them is fueling an undercurrent of both excitement and unease. From Google's stealthy launch of Gemini 2.5 Pro to OpenAI's GPT-40, overshadowing your social media feed with pixel-by-pixel wizardry, the AI ecosystem has expanded in ways that challenge our old assumptions. Chinese tech giants are stepping onto the stage in force, pushing boundaries with deep architectures and open-source frameworks. Meanwhile, controversies simmer over watermarking, data privacy, and the morality of disclaimers. In this vast landscape, two truths stand out. First, AI is no longer a novelty. It's powering everything from creative content to entire software pipelines, affecting professionals and casual users alike. Second, the race among Google, OpenAI, Tencent, ByteDance, and countless others isn't just about who sells more cloud subscriptions or who wins social media clout. It's about who gets to shape the very fabric of how we create, share, and interpret information in a digitally morphing world. Every new release feels like it edges us closer to a reality where the lines between genuine and synthetic, personal and automated, become almost impossible to distinguish. And perhaps that's what we should be paying closer attention to, not just the mind-blowing potential of these tools, but how they might redefine our everyday lives and relationships in ways we're only starting to glimpse. Thank you for watching, and remember, no matter which AI you root for, the future is rushing toward us faster than anyone anticipated. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and ask yourself, as this technological renaissance unfolds, are we steering the machines or are they steering us?